Okay. We're still at 3 minutes, right? The official timekeeper again? My responsibility is kind of goes over one seat.
You can wait out here.
I know.
Jeez.
I can still reach.
By the time we get to it,
We live.
Yeah, if it gets to me, it's pretty much just me.
is there really any there?
Call meeting order. Please raise, stand for the pledge. The pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
roll call.
Mayor Pro Tem Tim Brown.
Here.
Councilmember Richard Orphan.
Here.
Rich Skordoff.
Here.
Chris McCledge.
Here. We have a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll make the motion.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on it? Not hearing any. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pass 4-0. Motion to approve consent agenda.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, do I hear a second?
All second.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, aye. Okay, pass 4-0. Meeting open to the public. Has anyone signed up?
No one has signed up before the meeting.
Okay. And no petitions, requests, or applications, so we'll move right into ordinances and resolutions. For us, we have ordinance 211, second series, amending section 4-1-3, fee schedule for building permits, 1997 Uniform Building Code within the City of St. Francis, second reading. Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion. Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I would make a motion that we approve ordinance 211, second series.
Could you hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Not hearing it, this will be a roll call vote. Councilman Skordahl,
Aye.
Councilman Orphan,
Aye.
Councilman McClish,
Aye.
and Mayor Pro Tem votes aye. Pass 4-0. And B, we have resolution 2015-64, summary publication ordinance 211, second series. I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
And second, any discussion? Not hearing any, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pass 4-0. Now we have C, ordinance 212, second series, amending section 2-9-1 of the city code regarding the fee schedule, second reading. Do I hear any motion?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I would make a motion that we approve ordinance 212, second series.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion?
Can I ask, what is the water conditioning fee? The $55 that nobody else has.
Refer that to our building inspector.
Good evening, Mayor Council. Thank you for the opportunity to address some of these questions. A water conditioning permit is a water softener, essentially. State statute has limited the fee for that for a number of years. And they have now backed away from that, so they allow cities to charge what they would incur for the fees to actually issue and monitor that permit. And like a lot of the permits, since I came on board here, we're trying to get them more in line to the actual cost of the services that are required to administer these permits. But directly, a water conditioning is a water softener.
Isn't there a water softening fee already on the schedule?
I apologize, I don't have the fee schedule right in front of me, but a water conditioning is a water softener. And I don't know if that language was duplicated or not, I'd have to double check that.
Well, there's a water conditioning and there's a water softener permit. They're two separate items.
Okay, that should be consolidated into one, I apologize for the discrepancy. I'll have to double check that, but a water conditioning permit is the same as a water softener.
Okay. And then I guess, where is the cost incurred on some of these? Some of these seem pretty significant, like the irrigation, that's just looking for the backflow preventer. I guess I wonder how that costs $75.
Okay, and thank you for the opportunity to address this, because I think this is something that isn't as second nature to a lot of people, where me, it's in front of me all day, every day, so it's very standard for me to realize the costs incurred. And we did actually have some comparisons from areas similar in size and nature as St. Francis, and there's a breakdown here, and it helps to look at these from the knowledge that there are essentially two different types of permits, a set fee and a value-based permit. A value-based permit is essentially an addition to a single-family home or a new home itself, and those permits are based on valuation, which is a percentage of that valuation, or percentage of the cost of that permit. A set fee, however, is for permits, and I did have a memo in here as well, which broke that down a little bit for you. That is, those permits really don't differ in the requirements for administering, inspecting, and documenting those. So that's a set fee permit. And on a lawn irrigation permit, for example, much like a window and a door, the cost is where we have the handouts that are generated for the general public that's published on the website, as well as available in the office. And then the time for staff to receive that permit, check licensing, to do the site inspection, and then also to document and to log those inspections in the property file.
Okay.
Right.
And then I think that's all that, I guess that kind of sums up a lot of the questions that I had, so.
And I appreciate the opportunity to explain that again, as if you look at a lot of the other jurisdictions, it's very similar for the set fee permits. Some jurisdictions tend to undercharge, quite frankly. You know, some cities for a set fee permit, they would charge $30 or $50. And $30 to $50 doesn't go very far. When you start looking at the staff time that's required to administer, inspect, and to document those inspections and maintain the property records. So now that we're getting closer to where we need to be, and you can look like Andover, Blaine, Ramsey are more in line for realizing that they charge the costs that are associated with those permits. Some of the other cities in this chart reflect permit fees that are quite low. So they actually subsidize the permit process.
I guess, how many people are non-compliant in permits now, and is this gonna make things worse? Isn't the whole point to have safe, reliable housing in the city, and is this gonna impact people wanting to pull permits?
If your point is that you don't want it too high as far as discouraging, you're exactly right. You don't want that to be an inhibiting factor. In fact, state statute, it does require you or doesn't allow you to charge more than the cost affected by that. But you're right in that you certainly don't want a fee to be so high that it discourages property owners and contractors from getting permits in the first place.
Mhm.
So yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's a fine line. You want to make sure that you pay for the costs and then you reimburse the city for the staff time involved. But yet you don't want it too high, because then, like you say, people are doing roofs on a weekend. You know, they're not getting the permits required for a water conditioning or a water softener to make sure that the backflow preventer and the drain waste and vent is vented properly and that it drains properly. So it is a fine line, and that's something that we balance, quite frankly, in the building department.
Is it a big problem right now with people not pulling permits that you're aware of? Or I guess, would there be any way to know?
There's really no way to know, and it is tough. It is tough to know for sure how many projects are being done without a permit, because they are done in evenings and weekends when staff are not in the city.
Okay.
But you know, a lot of times this comes back when properties change hands, when they're sold, because a lot of mortgage companies now require a home inspector to do a sign off or actually to inspect the home. And quite often now, in fact, over the years, it's been more and more frequency where somebody would come in and ask for the files for a property, so they can see when was a roof permit last, water heater, things of that nature. Was that deck ever permitted? If there's some safety concerns for that deck. And a lot of times that's used as a bargaining tool from the buyer to the seller. If something was done without a permit, then they would want to make sure that that's brought up to code. It's difficult to permit a project after the fact, but you can work backwards in some respects just to make sure that the project is safe to some degree.
Okay. I have nothing else.
Anybody else have any? Thank you very much. Any further discussion? Okay. Again, this is a roll call vote. Councilman Plish, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Orpin
Nay?
and Councilman Squirrel,
Aye.
and I'll vote aye. So pass 4-0.
Good one.
No. 3-1.
3-1. 3-1. I'm sorry.
Good thing we had a roll call vote.
Yeah, good thing. Okay, interim resolution. We won't need the resolution.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, if we got a 3-1 vote, we did not have a pass on the board.
Right, so we won't need the resolution. Okay. Okay, moving on to reports of consultants and staff members. It looks like fire department.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, Council, good evening. Tonight I'm here presenting the agenda that's in your packets, requesting approval to hire firefighters for the city of St. Francis Fire Department. I'm here to answer any questions. This was beneficial for the city to hire them at this time rather than wait, just because of the Norfolk County Fair Academy taking advantage of that, getting reimbursed. I guess I'm here for any other questions you might have.
Does anybody have any questions?
Are we gonna come out ahead on this with firefighters, with all the people expected to leave, or is this kind of gonna just keep us status quo?
It's going to keep us, right now I get a resignation from one person or coming to by a week. He moved to Graham. I suspect another 2, so if I had 2 right now, I would be looking to do this again in the future.
In the future, like next year, or?
By next year.
Okay.
Yeah, these new ones will be eligible for the fire academy reimbursement. Then, right?
2 do have training right now, so if we were to hire 2 in training, then 3 would be eligible. We haven't decided exactly what 5 or looking to put in place yet. But.
Okay. And we're looking for a motion to approve hiring?
Correct.
Okay.
To move forward for hiring.
I'll make that motion to move forward for hiring additional firefighters.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? Not hearing or seeing any. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And pass 4-0.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you. And we have the police department.
Evening, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. Excuse me if I stumble a little bit, I'm kind of fighting a cold. Tonight, what I'm here to talk to you about is our forfeiture funds and some things that the police department would like to move forward on with those funds. As you may or may not be aware, forfeiture funds are a result from vehicles that are sold at auction, from DUIs and so forth. And the funds need to be used for enforcement purposes. I don't need a resolution or a vote to spend the money, but at the same time, it is something that, as a police chief, I think is vital to keep my council in on and make sure that they have an opportunity to weigh in on what we're doing with those funds. 3 actions that we're looking at doing is currently our department uses the X26 taser and 2 X26Ps. The X26, as some of you may know, is at end of life. In other words, they don't service it anymore. We actually called for a part, and they found that pretty humorous that they're still alive. So we're looking at replacing 4 of those, and they have a cost of $890 each. So that expenditure would be a total of $3,600 for that one item. The second item would be to add 2 new Motorola portable radios. As you have heard time and time again, how the fire department and the police department are looking at going to the encrypted radios, and everyone's trying to figure out how we're going to make that one big step into encrypted radios at one time. What we'd like to do is use some of the forfeiture funds to purchase 2 of those so we can start moving that direction and start getting them in place. The additional portables would be useful in themselves, but to be able to replace them to add new portables at this time with ones that are prepared for the future, shall we say, would be advantageous. And this will kind of tell you why we don't want to do it all at one time, because they're $3,900 each. So we're looking at purchasing 2 of those with forfeiture funds for an additional cost of $7,800. Lastly, we're looking at replacing, as you know, you see at parades and whatnot, we have UTV, the black UTV, and that's a 2008, and the brand is CF Moto. I don't know if you're familiar with that brand or not. Most people aren't. It's a little bit of an odd dog, but it's what we could afford at the time in 2008 and what we could buy. So we priced out a 2016 Polaris Ranger Crew ATV, which is the side-by-side version, but it has 2 side-by-sides. I guess that's how you put it, 2 bench seats in it. The CF Moto has had a couple of costly mechanical failures this year, to the point it's last 2 times it's gone out, it's limped home, so to say, and made it to the bus garage to get repaired. The Polaris Ranger, the same model that we're looking at, is currently being used by other departments in Anoka County. The Sheriff's Department, 2 police departments, and a couple fire departments. The unit has a cost out the door with all the options of approximately $21,000. Options are windshield, rear window, roof, and doors. So that would result, the end result of those 3 purchases would end up with our balance being reduced to approximately $5,600. And again, like I say, all these items are items that would be in the police department's future budgets. But statutorily, we cannot use forfeiture funds to supplement our budget, so we can't. If I had a car budgeted for 2016, I can't use forfeiture funds to purchase that car because it's a budget item. So the statutory says it has to be an unbudgeted item. These are items that would end up being in our CIPs or in our budgets in the future. And this is one way that we can purchase those items because they're useful. A lot of information I just dumped on you, and we can go back to any one of the items if you have questions.
Would it be more cost effective to just buy a new squad for that instead of that ATV? That's pretty expensive.
It's horrifying. I will be the first to admit that when I started looking at what a UTV costs, I mean, like I have a 4-wheeler, but it's a 2000, so I haven't bought one for a long time. The UTV itself isn't expensive, but then you put the door, it's horrifying what they charge you to put a door on it and windshield and such, but that was my knee-jerk reaction. But it's not. I mean, a squad car, a squad car that's not set up. Currently, I was just looking at prices. I'm gonna pull out the air here, but they used to be 20 grand. Where everyone say you talk about them, it's like, well, can you give me one? Because they were, you can get a Charger for 20,000, but I think they're at 27 now. And then to put the radio in, just just the radio in that car's another 6,000. And setup, I was just looking at setup prices for future budgeting, and I believe it was just about $7,500 for another budget. So you're already at about 30 grand.
Mhm.
And it won't go down bike paths, and it won't go down park trails and be able to access some of the areas that we currently would like to access and have been accessing with our current UTV.
And then one question on the radios is the encrypted what everybody's going to, or is that just kind of a bonus for officer safety or?
And currently in Anoka County, there's a huge push to move everything to encrypted. And I think if radios didn't cost $3,900 a piece, it already happened. We said, look, if we're doing it, that's going forward. But yeah, we have had this in this last year. I can think of 3 situations up here in St. Francis where those people with encrypted radios, such as SWAT teams, drug task force, and whatnot, have gone to their encrypted channels, and we can't hear them. And so we can't communicate, so we don't know what they're doing. So that's why kind of everyone's trying to lean towards that and get that technology. I would be the first to say that, although I think it's a great idea, we heard the same thing when we talked about 800 megahertz. But look, we'll go to 800 megahertz, no one can hear what we're doing. You know, we can go to channels and no one hears. Well, we all know now online you can listen to the calls instantly as they're going out. So it's kind of that old radar detector, I think, theory, but at a much slower pace.
Nothing else.
On the radios now, going to the encrypted, is that gonna be a for sure deal, or is it speculation?
No, many departments already are.
Okay.
And we have already, in our department, any squad radios that we've been replacing them with encrypted radios. So it's already a movement that's happening, not just in our department by any means, but by all. So this big battle is, you know, if you think of a community like Coon Rapids, just the southwest, who has, I can only imagine how many radios, come up with 3,900 times 100 radios. Now, for the St. Francis Police Department to come up with the money, the same funds to replace our 12 radios, percentage-wise in the budget, I believe it's the same. That's what I always try to pound on the table with, is that, look, it's the same percentage in the budget. I know that's a bigger number for them, but their budget's a lot bigger. But, it's a hard pill to swallow to come up with at one moment. And then never mind the fact that to try to replace it, just the cost of replacing a radio in a car, like take one out of there, you know, if we take a radio out of there and put a new radio in, you know, you're probably, never mind, you know, between $5,000 and $6,000 radio, it's probably going to cost you another $1,000 to put it in. So we've just been replacing them as they come through.
And on the UTV, what do you crystal ball life expectancy?
Polaris dealer says 10 years, and then he gave me the name of the department to call to confirm that. So it sounds like it's pretty much where it's at. It's 10 years is a good. I mean, I am, and my crystal ball would say probably 12 or 15. If we can make a CF model last 8, I think we can get all that out of a real manufacturer. So.
Well, I think it's good use of our forfeiture funds or your forfeiture funds. And looks like it's being spent wisely, and it's not tax dollars, so that's a benefit to the city. So I'm in favor of it.
Are you looking for direction or just info?
Just direction, yeah.
Okay. I'll support this. The UTV is a great tool to have. We have a lot of parks in our city, a lot of fields, and the Taser, the X26, they don't make those anymore, so I totally understand that. and the radios, that's very, very important, so, very important. Because everybody in Oak County is gonna go up to those radios, so.
Mr. Mayor, I support it. The only question I have, this is the first time I've seen this request since I've been on the council. How often do we do this, spend forfeiture funds? Is it a once a year thing? Do you see the balance get to a certain point and you say, hey, we now have the ability to do something?
And pretty much a combination of the two, as we have auctions and slowly, it surely isn't yearly. We kind of watch the funds grow, and when they start getting up big enough that obviously with the cost of things, you don't want to just jump into it. It's easy for me to budget for smaller items. And some of the bigger items that are enforcement related, the forfeiture, that was the intent of that. That's what that statute's there for. And so to me, that's the vital part here is that, the statute makes it crystal clear. It needs to be for enforcement purposes. Well, radios, tasers, and UTV are, I don't know how much more enforcement related you can get. So it's definitely not an arguable thing. And the advantage is that it's coming back to the citizens as a useful tool that was not paid for by taxation.
Thanks. I'm all for it.
I concur. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Point of order. Correct me if I'm wrong, do we miss resolution 2015-65? Did we vote on that?
No, we didn't need to vote on that.
Didn't.
Scott, you wanna, just for the benefit, you wanna tell them why we don't?
We don't have a summary publication need because the original ordinance did not pass. In order to pass an ordinance by city charter, you need 4/5 vote, or if you don't have 5 people, you still need the 4 votes. So it was passed, but it was 3 people voted in favor of it, 1 person voted against it. That means it did not pass because it required a supermajority. Where the ordinance does not pass, there's no need for a summary publication resolution.
Thank you. And next, our city administrator.
Acting Mayor, members of the council, we have a proposal tonight for the creation and advertisement of the office assistant position. This will be, as we had discussed earlier in the year, a 0% impact on the levy for next year. It's kind of the consolidation of several part-time positions that were operating within the city, and it will be stationed at City Hall and help every single department head with basic administrative duties there.
From what I read over, it sounds like it pencils out well. And are we looking for direction?
I guess just a motion to approve the creation and advertisement for the position.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I would like a second.
Okay, any discussion on it? See, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? 4-0. And we have reports from council members. Mr. McClish,
Nothing to report?
Councilman Scrotal,
I will not be here the first meeting of December. Is that December 6th? I think. Remember the date. And it looks like we don't have a P&Z commission meeting this week, correct? If we were, I was going to miss that, but that's a moot point. And the only thing I was going to say, and I just want to thank the department heads for coming. I like to see I think we got 1, 2, 3, at least 4 of you here tonight. Thanks. I appreciate that.
Councilman Orpin,
Yeah, nothing.
and I have nothing. The mayor doesn't have anything either. Do we have any old business?
Yes.
Okay.
The Highway 47, I just want to give an update. MnDOT just recently approved a school zone in the area of Pedersen Drive and Highway 47. So they're going to be reducing the speed limit from 50 to 40 miles an hour when school is in session. I'm not too sure when they're going to be posting the signs, but I just wanted to give the public an update. This has been an issue we've been talking about for many years now. So hopefully this will be slow the traffic down for the kids before and after school. So, I don't know if the council has any other input, but just want to give an update.
Are they gonna have, them flashing signs?
I'm not too sure if Mr. Coleman has any more info on that.
Yeah, we will hopefully have some information posted to the website. I know Mr. Vogie has reviewed that information, and we can probably speak to that.
Mayor, council, the notice as indicated just came out recently, but at any rate, they haven't provided a lot of details surrounding the signage or whether or not there'll be those flashing LEDs around the edges. But in most cases, there are flashing lights to indicate the presence of the school speed zone. So the traffic department, that approves the speed zone for the study, and then that's funneled down to the signage department that actually physically installs the signs. So we can certainly call them and see what their anticipated schedule is. And last time I spoke to them, it was undetermined at that time, but it has been approved and it will go in. So.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Any other old business? Do we have any new business?
I've had several residents recently come to me asking me about chickens in the backyard, having backyard chickens. And I guess I wanted to bring it before the council to see if we thought it was a good direction to like pursue, so our residents can keep backyard chickens, but not roosters is what most people do. I felt like I would be not doing my job if I didn't bring it up, because I've had more than a few people bring it up to me. So I guess I get your input and then some direction for staff, I guess, is what I'm looking for.
Seems to me, didn't we have some domestic animal issues a few years ago?
We can bring back a report of the ordinances on the book and possible changes or accommodations that we can make to that if that works.
Okay.
Like I said, if you guys think it would benefit our citizens to do it, that's what I was kind of looking for.
I'm probably not in favor, but I remember it was kind of a nightmare last time this came up,
Okay.
so.
I think let staff do them, because I thought I remember in the last few years, we did something on the P and Z commission that addressed this. Well, and obviously the council would have approved it or denied it, but we did, I don't know. I think do the report and come back and see what's on the books right now, and then go forward.
Yeah, it would be nice if I could at least tell these people that I'm talking to that this is why we don't have them, or that kind of thing.
Any other new business?
No.
Okay. And I guess, we're gonna make a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Aye. Had to get it on there. We're adjourned. Thank you.